Less than a week after the general election, there was a photo that circulated the internet and went viral. It was a disgusting photo featuring an individual holding a sign that read, "Rape Melania." So let's take a look at that photo. And many on the internet were under the impression that the person holding that sign was actually a liberal, because that protest that you're looking at right now was a liberal protest of Donald Trump's election.
You can tell with the guy with the tie-dyed hat.
It's pretty clear, right? So interestingly enough, there was a bit of an investigation into this to kind of figure out whether or not that was really a liberal protester, or if it was someone who intentionally went there with the sign to make these protesters seem as though they're violent people. Well, there was an investigation. Here's what BuzzFeed found. It was the brainchild of a group of Trump supporters, actually, led by this guy named Jack Posobiec, one of the organizers of the controversial Deplorable inauguration party and a prominent figure in the pro-Trump internet. Okay, so at first when I read this, I was like, how do they know for sure, right? It's not unheard of for stuff like that to happen. I mean, we just did the story about Project Veritas and how they were offering to pay progressives a ton of money just to do violent or unlawful things during Trump's inauguration. So it's not unheard of, but there's some serious proof here. So furthermore, as shown by a series of Posobiec's text messages obtained by BuzzFeed News and confirmed by a source who actually collaborated with him, the sign was the culmination of a disinformation campaign by Posobiec and others intended to paint the anti-Trump rallies as violent and out of control. So BuzzFeed News reviewed the text on a source's iPhone in Signal, the secure texting app, and the Signal messages allegedly from Posobiec came from the same phone number on which BuzzFeed News talked to Posobiec. So same phone number. And Posobiec told BuzzFeed News, no, the screenshots of those messages must be photoshopped. But no, they actually looked at the physical text messages themselves. So let me give you a taste of what these text messages said. So Posobiec had apparently texted to the person who outed him, took a page out of your book. I kept yelling, "Assassinate Trump," until someone repeated it and got them on tape. So the whole idea is to show up there and try to like rile people up and get like one person to say something questionable, film them and put it out on the internet.
So they're trying to do a couple of things to rile people up here and to blame the left. So this is so important for the rest of the press to not fall into this trap, because the press is dying to call everything even, right? And the Trump supporters have shown streaks of violence at the Trump rallies, etc. So a lot of folks are upset that Trump is coming into office. So the right wing now wants to pretend that the left wing, which is against violence, is actually really violent. So they want to stir things up. So there's a couple of ways you can stir things up. One is you can show up with a sign pretending to be a liberal and saying hideous things like "Rape Melania." Another is to try to goad people into violence, right? And start chants like this. So first of all, if you're a progressive at any of these rallies, don't ever fall for any of these tricks, right? And what they're trying to do is entrap you, etc. And you should always be nonviolent. And luckily, we are. That's why they don't have real people doing it. Right. That's why they need right-wing plants. So that's why he's going around pretending to be a progressive saying assassinate Trump.
That's right. Now, in the same text message conversation, he and his collaborator actually brainstormed other incendiary things to chant, including "Rape Melania." Okay, so here's some more proof for you. "Fuck Melania Trump" is what he proposed that the sign would say. And then the person said, "Too subtle, "Rape Melania" is better." And he's like, ooh, I should turn around. And then they're planning to protest the Trump Hotel today at 3:30, and then the Capitol later, coming with. And the person basically wrote, "Sorry, phone's all weird and didn't show signal or SIG notifications. What's the mission plan?" And here's what he said: "To discredit them, infiltrate them with bad signs." And that's essentially what happened. And by the way, one of his former friends, the same type of person who is a Trump supporter, part of the deplorables and all that other stuff, outed him on Twitter. Okay, so Based Alaska.
He's known as Baked Alaska. I know it's confusing because his Twitter handle is Based Alaska.
Based Alaska, right. He tweeted the following: "I have a question. Your organizer Jack, was the one who made the Rape Melania sign. Do you support this behavior?
Yeah. So this is the guy who had the falling out about the deplorable with the other deploraballers.
Yes.
And then because they were split in the camps of one camp hates everybody but the Jews, and the other camp hates everyone and the Jews. So then that's how the fight started, and now they're knifing each other. Because if you're scumbags, there's no honor among thieves, right? You're going to do it to other people, and then you're going to do it to each other, right? And so they're doing it now, and they're exposing the scumbaggery that they were planning together, right? So press, it's not the liberals. Don't report it blindly, because what they want the press to do is, I'm first to the story. Liberals were against Trump, and they said terrible things, and they're violent people. I'm first to the story, right? And so that's what they're trying to get you to do, and then that becomes a talking point. And then Republicans love to work with bad actors. If a Democrat gets a hold of someone who's progressive, who's done something wrong, they're like, whoa, they run away in the other direction. Republicans go, oh, you edited the tapes in a malicious way? Great, that'll help me defund Acorn. Great, it'll help me defund Planned Parenthood. So we wouldn't cover this story in the old days when, yeah, it's a bunch of loons online and do stupid, provocateur actions, etc. There's some old school tricks, right? But these days, they're relevant. They're guys in the White House. The guy who ran the alt-right website Breitbart is the chief strategist for the president-elect of the United States of America. And the media will jump at anything, right? So that's why we've got to make sure to point out it's a trick.
Right.
Don't buy into it.
And finally, what did Jack Posobiec have to say about all of this? Well, he tweeted in response to the BuzzFeed investigation, and he said, when people who lost their home states very, very badly try to stir up drama about what I did during the election, much jelly, sad. Yeah.
So he's not denying it.
He's not denying it.
So I know so the reason Trump attacks the press is he doesn't want you to know the facts. If you know the facts, then it doesn't look good for him. Like millions of people didn't illegally vote for Hillary Clinton. That's a lie that he made up. So he just says, well, okay, anything the press says is by definition wrong. Now, BuzzFeed helped him out a little bit by running that unverified story. So now I know what every right-winger is going to say, oh, BuzzFeed, oh, no, I don't believe it. But right there, he himself, Posobiec, said like, oh, they're jealous about my tactics.
Yeah.
Because in his worldview, there is no bottom of the barrel. Like if he's at the bottom barrel, he thinks he's at the top. He's like, yes, nailed it. I'm dirtier than you. And they're going to a thing called deplorable. Like they're proud of it.
Yeah.
Because as the graphic says, it's the fame game. All they just want to do is get famous. And it's easier to get famous by doing hideous things than by doing positive things for society. Let's go take on the corporate media. Come join us, be a member, and change the media. tytnetwork.com/join.